American Library Association, Harrison Public Library, Public Library Association, and Grow with Google. Thank you everyone for joining us. Today we will be covering Instagram best practices as well as taking a look at the many ad options that you have to help place you in front of your ideal target audience. So similarly as we did with Facebook, today's session will be very heavy on best practices and giving you all the background information that you need to be successful on Instagram. And then next week's session, which will be the last session in this series, will be us actually putting together an Instagram profile, which is going to be a bit of a challenge because, as you know, Instagram is mobile based. So unlike Facebook, where I actually built a Facebook page live, I'm going to have to get a little creative. Maybe I'll just do lots of screenshots with directions, and then you guys can actually do it on your phones or tablets. But we'll figure it out. This is my contact information as always. When you get the follow-up recording as well as hard copy of the presentation, you will have my information. Please always feel free to shoot me an email. Don't be shy. This is why we're doing this. And in terms of staying in contact with me in the social media space, you can follow me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @Stylista Group. I'm constantly sharing small business best practices, so that's a good way to kind of stay on top of what you should be doing as a small business in the digital marketing space. This is going to be our agenda for today. And if this is the first time you're joining me and you're wondering why I'm looking up, it's because I have two screens and I'm sharing the one that's right here. And I like to do a quick check to make sure we're on the same page. So agenda-wise, we're going to go over some Instagram user stats, the benefits of using Instagram for business. We're going to look at some key business profile features, and then we're going to review some Instagram content best practices, followed by hashtags and how they should be used. And then we're going to take a look at the various types of Instagram ads. There are quite a few, followed, of course, always by the importance of Instagram insights, because if you are not measuring your activity, then you will not know if any of the things that you're doing are successful or not. And then, of course, our usual Q&A, and then I will have everyone get back to the rest of their day. Okay, so to get things started, when I think of Instagram, I think of Instagram as the visual social media network. So if you join me for the Facebook portion of this, Facebook is more about community. So there's a lot of things that you can do. There's so many ways that you can engage with your audience. We have the business page, the groups, Messenger, all of these things. When I think of Instagram, I think of it as really rich visuals, visually stimulating. And so could be a little tricky if you have a service-based business because you don't have a tangible product that you can actually take pictures or videos of on to showcase on Instagram. It doesn't mean that you can't use Instagram. Your tactics just have to be a little different, but definitely if you have a product, especially if it's a product that is visually stimulating, Instagram is definitely one of the places that you should be, of course, depending on the demographics of your target audience. So just to review some key stats here, in terms of users in 2020, 112.5 million users on Instagram, and 63% of those users log on to Instagram at least once a day. So you can do the math later to see what that number is. Instagram users spend an average of 28 minutes per day on the platform. And I'm actually surprised that it's that low because I know even myself, sometimes I'm spending more than 28 minutes on Instagram. And especially the millennial audience, I know they definitely spend more than 28 minutes. More than 200 million Instagrammers visit at least one business profile daily. And engagement with brands on Instagram is 10 times higher than that on Facebook. A third of the most viewed stories are from businesses, and we're going to talk a little bit more about stories as we go further down into the presentation. And this is very important, especially if you have an e-commerce sort of business where you sell your products online. 130 million Instagram users tap on shopping posts every day. So these are the posts that you tap and it goes directly to the checkout of a specific product. And Instagram represents 10.7% of the social referral share to e-commerce sites. And 11% of US social media users actually shop on Instagram. So right there is your case. If you have an e-commerce business, you sell products, that you should definitely have some sort of e-commerce portion built into your digital marketing plan. And you can use Instagram. Actually, you can use Facebook as well if you remember. But in terms of the engagement, as you see here, Instagram is getting more engagement than even Facebook in terms of active shopping going on. So here are some benefits of using Instagram for your business. So the major benefit, of course, is that pictures, because they're more appealing than just text, drive engagement all on their own. Same with videos, right? So Instagram drives more engaged traffic than any other social media channel. And research shows that when comparing time on site from various social channels, Instagram actually beats out other sites like we said Facebook already, but also Pinterest, YouTube, Reddit, and much more. So using Instagram on your site. So I'm talking about connecting Instagram to your website through a plugin or some sort of feed. You guys may be familiar with going to someone's website and seeing their Instagram feed being showcased at the bottom. That is a simple WordPress plugin that you can use. So using Instagram on your site allows you to connect with customers across multiple channels and increase cross-channel engagement. So for example, let's say you display photos from your Instagram account on your website. When a customer is browsing on your site, which is what I was just referring to, they may not be following you on Instagram already. However, based on the attractiveness of your Instagram feed, they may begin to follow you once they see that display at the bottom. If you don't already have solid user-generated content, meaning that you don't actually have content that your customers are posting about you, Instagram actually can be used as a very effective way to get customers to actually jump on board and start posting pictures about your brand and actually sharing them. And then you can then take those pictures and reshare them on your Instagram profile as sort of a proof to prove that you actually have happy customers. So those are some of the key benefits of using Instagram. Another thing that I think I should mention is that since Facebook purchased Instagram a couple years ago, you also can now advertise on both Facebook and Instagram through the Facebook ad manager for the same digital ad spend. So say you have, I don't know, maybe only $300 to spend on digital ads. Before you had to kind of like separate it. Now you can go through the Facebook Ads Manager, connect your Instagram business accounts, and everything we're talking about is business accounts, not personal accounts. And as I think the next slide, I talk about how you can upgrade your personal account to a business account if that's what you need to do. So you can now connect your Instagram account to your Facebook ad manager and split and use that same $300 to have your ads run on both platforms, on both Facebook and Instagram. And then of course, as we mentioned with Facebook, access to the post insights. So you're actually able to see exactly how your content is being received by the end audience and see what kind of content is being reacted to in a way that is actually stimulating brand awareness or actual purchases so that you can rinse and repeat and just focus your efforts on the content that's giving you the best results. So these are the steps that you need to go through. Well, actually, these are not the steps, but this is why you should have a business account as opposed to a personal account. By having a business account, it allows you to be recognized as a business. It allows you to access metrics as to how your stories and promoted posts are performing. It allows you to get insights into your followers and see exactly how they're interacting with your posts. And it allows you to add key information about your company like business hours, locations, and phone number. Now, many people set up Instagram accounts for their business as a personal account. And, no problem there. Many people just don't know that you should have a business profile. And it is actually very easy. Unlike Facebook, where if you have a personal profile, you have to set up a separate business page. With Instagram, you can convert your personal profile to a business account. So if you have already been marketing your business on a personal profile, all you have to do is convert it. And in the next slide, and if you want to take a quick picture of this slide, go ahead, are the steps that you would take on your phone to actually upgrade your personal account to business account if that's what you have been using to promote your business. And so I'll just leave this up here for a couple seconds in case anybody wants to take a picture of this slide right now. If not, you will have it once you get the follow-up materials. And it's actually very simple. Okay, does anybody have any questions thus far? You can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself. All right, so let's keep moving along. We have a lot to cover today. Okay, so next we are going to take a look at some of the key features of an Instagram business profile. Starting with Instagram stories. So Instagram stories enables users to post pictures or video to an album that shows at the top of the screen of the Instagram sort of news feed, for want of a better word. And these pictures and videos disappear after 24 hours, okay? Now, many people would think, you know, this is kind of counterproductive. What's the purpose of this? However, businesses can use Instagram stories in their marketing to improve their engagement and visibility. So many people, the stats have shown that these days, because we're so overwhelmed with, you know, posts and videos and so many things going on social media, that people just want a really quick snapshot on what's going on, whether it's personally or with a brand that they follow. And so more users are actually viewing stories, both on Instagram and Facebook, but especially on Instagram, more than they're actually viewing profile posts and videos. And so if there's something about your business that you really want to get out there and really need people to respond to, especially if it's something like a 24-hour flash sale, or you're doing a new product launch really quickly, posting to stories for 24 hours is actually the way to grab the attention of your audience and then direct them to the appropriate places in terms of where you want them to go to get more information. So here are a few reasons why you should use stories as part of your Instagram marketing strategy. Definitely to stay top of mind. So this is the first thing that your target audience will see on their Instagram feed these days. Real-time marketing. So something just happened that's really exciting and you need to get it out there really quickly, just put it on stories. To have a little bit of fun. So many times, you know, there are posts that are engaging or informational that may not be as polished as your usual profile posts or videos, but you still want to get it out there to exchange the information about what's going on. And so this is a way where you can share that content and not have it live forever on your page, okay? And also it's a way of making a much deeper connection with your audience. So showing a little bit of imperfection. So this is this silly video that me and my team shot today while we were having lunch or while we were brainstorming, and it helps you to showcase more of the authentic personality of your brand. So these are just some things that you should be thinking about in terms of the way that you use Instagram stories for your business. Again, with all digital marketing tactics that are not supported by strategy really don't do much for you. So when you're thinking about your stories, you may want to sit down and jot down some ideas for how you will use them and also what the intended response will be or that you're hoping for. Okay. Instagram highlights. So Instagram stories can live longer on your profile once you turn them into highlights. And so in this example, these are the highlights that you see. So what you can do is you can categorize your stories based on the kind of content that it is and have them create a sort of living album on the profile so that they don't disappear after 24 hours. And so in this case that we're looking at, this example, sorry, that we're looking at, you can see that this business page has chosen to create highlights with certain categories of stories. So they have their blogs. Whenever they share anything in the stories that's blog related, they send it to live here permanently in the profile. Tattoos, African City, shop online, Pinterest, and you can have as many highlights as you like. I also recommend that you create fun covers for the highlights as opposed to leaving the highlights exposed, because in terms of stimulating engagement, you want people to kind of guess as to what the content is, what's hiding behind these covers. It's also a great way to make your profile look as professional as possible, and to make it attractive to your target audience. Okay, shoppable stories and posts. So Instagram shopping gives your business an engaging storefront and allows people to explore your best products. So you don't have to make every single product that you have shoppable on Instagram. I mean, you can if you want to. But what I usually recommend to my clients is that they choose maybe their best-selling products. You could choose your best-selling products, or maybe the products that you want to become bestsellers, to give them a little bit more exposure to the target audience. So with Instagram shopping, you can share featured products through your organic post and stories. Or you can have your products be discovered in the search and explore section of Instagram. And we'll talk about that a little further on in the presentation. So what happens is when someone taps on a product tab, and you guys will see these are the product tabs, okay? They get an insight into the cost of the product, and should they want to purchase, they will just click on that tab and it goes straight to your shopping cart. Okay, so this is what happens when they tap on these little tags that you see here. They will see an image of the product, a description of the product, how much it costs, and then a link that takes them directly to your e-commerce site where they can choose to purchase or browse some more. So again, if you have products that you're hoping to sell on Instagram, you definitely would want to make use of this feature. Okay, IGTV, relatively new. So IGTV is an app that can be used alone or in tandem with Instagram. And it's pretty much Instagram's answer or competitor to YouTube, in that it's designed for mobile optimized viewing of longer videos. So as you know, there's that limitation on the length of videos on Instagram. However, if you use IGTV, like people are doing entire series on IGTV. So this is your opportunity, instead of directing users away from your Instagram to say, go check out my YouTube channel, you can actually just have them stay on your profile and engage with your longer videos via IGTV. So what is the difference between IGTV and stories? The difference is that your videos on IGTV can be up to an hour in length if you need them to. And so at this time, there is limited availability in terms of the users that can have videos longer than this, but I'm assuming over time, this functionality will be available to everyone. So what are the benefits of using IGTV for your business? And we'll just quickly review what the infographic says. Pretty new, so it's not really being utilized a lot by many businesses, especially small businesses. So like with many things, if you are the one that gets there first, you have an opportunity to maintain a stronghold and stand out. So beating the competition is one reason why you may choose to start using IGTV right now. Optimizing click-through rates. Now, I don't know about you guys, but one of my pet peeves with posting on Instagram, on like Facebook, and these are the posts that live on your profile, is that you aren't really able to have a click-through link, right? So you can't post a picture and then say, you know, by the way, this is my new hair care product that I just released, sorry. And by the way, if you want to find out more, you can click on this link and go read some reviews that my customers have read. You know, you always have to say click link in bio, which means that you're constantly having to update the only clickable link on your profile, which is your bio link. However, with IGTV, you can actually have clickable URLs, finally, attached to your videos. So this could be a way for you to maximize your click-through rate from Instagram, since as of right now, the posts themselves aren't allowed to have links that are clickable. I mean, you can put it, but it wouldn't be clickable. They would have to actually physically type the URL for the link from the post. And we all know that these days people don't have the time or patience to do anything extra. Captivating long form content. You're now able to produce this kind of content and upload it to Instagram without having it be cut off like it usually would be. And also being able to partake in the vertical video trend. So in 2017, Facebook users were more likely to tune into mobile-friendly vertical videos for longer times than traditional videos. And so IGTV only uses full screen vertical videos. And as a result of this, allows marketers to create a video strategy that embraces the current trend. So you don't have to worry about formatting the video yourself. Automatically, it would be formatted as such. And also, if your audience or a huge subset of your audience are millennials and Gen Z, then IGTV is designed to appeal to them. So hopefully, based on the kind of business that you have, you will, now add IGTV as part of your strategy. Okay, so a little bit of a guideline as to how you can begin to play with IGTV. It's actually pretty simple. You start with downloading the app. We'll walk you through the steps of creating a channel. Only one channel, this is one thing, only one channel can be created for each Instagram account. So that should be the channel that you use for your business, of course. Then you just go ahead, you film, edit, and upload your video. Branding is key for everything. So you would want to make sure that you add a cover image. And definitely it should be something that represents your brand or at least the content of your video. When adding titles and descriptions, be sure to make it brief and engaging. And maximize visibility and reach by including a list of hashtags in your description. And further down in the presentation, we will talk about hashtags and how you should choose them. I actually have a little mini video that explains how you should be going about finding the hashtags that are right for your business. Then, of course, you will cross-promote this IGTV video by linking it to your story. And again, the reason why you would link it to your story is because stories are enjoying more engagement and visibility as opposed to posts. And you can also do posts as well. I would do both. And then, of course, once you get into the hang of doing this, you really would want to pay attention to your analytics as always to make sure that all of the effort that you're making is actually paying off somehow. Many times it's not, the payoff isn't in revenue, but brand awareness, engagement, all of these things come before real conversion happens. And so, even if your target audience isn't actively spending with you immediately, they will over time if you're doing a great job of engaging with them. All right, so I thought that to help help you guys visualize in real life more of what I'm talking about, that we would take a look of an Instagram page that is actually doing a good job of utilizing all of the features that we just went over. I don't know if they have any active stories. They did when I created this presentation, but if not, I'm sure that all of you guys are familiar with what stories look like at this point. So let's go back. Okay, so this is the profile of Thrive Cosmetics, and they are a vegan, cruelty-free makeup line, personal care items. It's not just makeup, they also sell other items. So the stories aren't there, but maybe we can go to another profile that has stories. All right, so as we see, some really interested, really nicely branded covers. and they actually have quite a lot. So just from an engagement perspective, like if someone is new to this brand, this is actually a great way to kind of catch up with what has been going on. And so when you click on, and I wouldn't do this, of course, for all of the highlights. When you click on the highlights, this is their Q&A, so they're frequently asked questions that they turned into stories at first, and then they turned them into highlights so that they live on the profile. So you can kind of like catch up in terms of what's been going on with the brand. These are questions that customers have asked in the past. And in terms of content creation, you guys, people are usually a little discouraged. Like, I don't have that much to say. You actually do. You just have to kind of sit down and think about, things like this. What are the questions that my customers always ask me? That is great content if you proactively answer them. All right. So I'm just going to let this continue going. And I'm assuming over time, they just continue to add to the highlights. And as you see here, you can actually send a message. So if you had an additional question about one of the products or something that you saw, you can use that opportunity to engage with the brand. So COVID together, I think this would be a good one for us to take a look at given the time that we're in right now. And this one has a lot. So here the brand are giving highlights, no pun intended, as to how they are doing everything they can to help to support organizations that are helping to serve communities or initiatives in relation to COVID-19. Okay? Or just maybe giving them highlights or shout outs. Okay? So this one is pretty long, so I'm not going to let it go, but you guys get the idea. All right. Okay. So these are the page posts, right? Very engaging, very branded as well. And I would highly recommend that you guys have a graphic designer or somebody who knows about branding suggest a color palette for your Instagram profile. Because as you can see, it's by no accident that just about every other post that they make has their brand colors. So clearly this is the packaging. So this, I think is their main brand color. But even if they're not posting the color itself, you can see that some thought is given into the colors that would be complementary to the overall brand story. So a graphic designer would be able to tell you based on your current logo or your brand colors, what other complementary colors you can use in your social media posts to kind of like tell a story, a nice story. And specifically for Instagram, when someone goes to your Instagram page and they scroll down, you would want it to look as visually appealing. Remember, Instagram is the visual network, as visually appealing as this. So these are their posts. They do have an IGTV channel. And here they're sharing, yoga sessions, mobility, workouts, live discussions, getting down to business with Carissa. Here you can see this is where they've been tagged. So this is their user-generated content. This is interesting. I actually use their mascara because it's really great for the women on the call. It actually makes you look like you have really long eyelashes. I don't have any on today, but if I did, Tia has beautiful eyelashes. Not really, it's Thrive. So I'm going to do an experiment, and maybe we'll check it out next week when we do our hands-on. I'm actually going to tag them. I'm going to put the mascara on and tag them and see if I show up in their tagged user-generated content photos. That would be kind of fun. So here is where you would be able to see the user-generated content. So these are the fans or the actual customers who are using the products and endorsing them and then tagging them, and they're having them showcased here. Okay. This is their clickable link. Let's go back. Just take a quick look at a post. Some best practices in terms of highlighting the text that you want people to pay attention to, using little arrows, definitely helps to draw attention to what is being said, because as we know, people don't have that much time these days to be reading much, but because there's an arrow or emoji, the graphic element is what actually draws people's attention. And of course, hashtags, which we will talk about how you go about choosing hashtags for your posts. This post actually got over 3,000 likes, which is great. So hopefully you guys, the only thing that this profile doesn't have is a story. So let me see if I can, who would most probably have a story? Let me see if I can find a profile that has a story. I see Sephora, maybe sometimes. Trying to think of, yep, they have a story. And of course, case in point, they're doing exactly the same thing. Just look at the profile again in terms of color choice, pastels, very complimentary, very attractive. You go to some people's profiles, it's not attractive at all. Like all they're doing is putting up a bunch of pictures and there's no sort of like thought behind it. So because Instagram is a visual network, you want to make sure that your profile is as attractive as possible. All right, so let's see what's going on in their stories today. Okay, so they're having some sort of talk.
Hi everyone, we are Mark and Colette, the co-founders of skincare brand The Inky List, and today we are talking to you about the amazing antioxidant for all, our Q10 serum.
Great.
Even our packs help spread knowledge, making things simple to understand and easy to use. And Q10 is here to help reduce fine lines and wrinkles and hydrate your skin.
All right, so you guys get the idea. So again, real-time, on-the-go sort of content, interesting tidbits. That is the way that you would use your Instagram business stories. All right, so does anybody have any questions about what we just experienced together in terms of the key functionalities of the Instagram business profile? Any questions? You can feel free to either use the chat or unmute yourself. No, we're good? All right, so let's keep going. So content is king for all social media. And if you guys attended the Facebook workshop, you will remember these content best practices because they are the same actually for all digital marketing. However, based on the network, there will be some things that are specific to the network, which is what we will go over for Instagram. So one of my favorite small marketing business gurus, Seth Godin. If you guys are not following him, you absolutely should. He is just, he has a wealth of wisdom. And what I like about him is that he actually shares marketing advice that a small business can implement. Because, you know, sometimes people are really good at this stuff, but they operate on the level of somebody having $1 million marketing budget. Us small business owners, we don't have that. Seth Godin, however, gives you these little pearls of wisdom that any small business person can actually implement, even if not at once, but over time. So he's definitely one of the people that I usually recommend that a small business owner follows, Seth Godin. So one of my favorite quotes by him: marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories that you tell. And so your content has to be compelling and told in story format. And so these are the overall best practice rules for developing your social media content. So 50% of it should be engaging, entertaining, inviting conversations, images and video. 30% of it should be useful. So you're just giving information, industry information, hints, tips, you know, curating content from other credible third-party sources. And then 20% of the time is when you do the ask, as in, buy my product, subscribe to my newsletter, attend my webinar. It's counterproductive, but what happens is that if you flip this and 80% of the time you're like, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, you lose your audience immediately. So 80% of the time, your content should be focused on establishing yourself as a credible source, stimulating engagement, and then the remaining 20% of the time is when you can feel free to promote yourself. Key content assets, you guys will remember this from Facebook, user-generated content, including testimonials, pictures, and video, especially for Instagram. Let's take a look at some content creation strategies. And again, this will be a review of what we went over for Facebook. You should always survey your competitive landscape. Many small business owners don't like to do this. I'm not really sure why, because there's so much that you can learn from taking a look at your competitors at your level and then a couple of aspirational competitors, because my hope is that you don't want to stay as small as you are, that you want to grow. And so by looking at your aspirational competitors, you can actually get a really clear idea as to what you should be doing if you want to move forward and be like them. So surveying your competitive landscape. This is actually a digital marketing competitor grid that I always do in my business. And what we usually do is that we monitor the top 3 to 5 competitors of our clients, and we take a look at exactly what's going on their social media profiles. So how many followers they have, how frequently they're posting, the kind of content they're posting, how much of their content is curated, meaning they're sourcing content from credible third-party sources, as opposed to how much of their content they're creating in-house, and how active their fans are on social media. You don't only want to just look at social media, however. You want to take a look at their overall digital marketing presence. And if you attended the first workshop in this series, I did an overview as to why it's important that you have a robust overall digital marketing presence. So your website needs to be on point, your newsletters need to be on point, if you're blogging, they need to be updated. Social media is just a piece of the overall digital marketing puzzle. So you want to take a look to see how they're integrating their social media in their website, if they have a blog, or wherever else they exist online. And so what you're looking for are the successful things that they're doing. Like what strategies are they employing that are really connecting with their audience, okay? And what you're really looking for is what they're not doing so well, because this is your opportunity to stand out from the crowd. You don't want to be a Me Too brand. Yes, you do want to employ strategies that are successful, because why won't you? But you just don't want to be a copycat. So there's always, even big brands, there are always things that are being done that could be done a little differently. And especially as a small business, this is your opportunity to stand out and connect on a deeper level with your shared target audience. All right, so that's the general overview in terms of best practices for content for digital marketing. Now let's take a deeper look and get more Instagram specific. Again, because Instagram is a visual network, you want to make sure that all of your visuals are high quality, okay? So pictures, clear, high resolution, not foggy. If you've taken product shots, make sure that they're either staged or in their nice, clean, white backgrounds, no clutter in the background. And sometimes actually hiring a product photographer is the best thing that you can do with yourself. So not every brand can do this, but there are simple things that you can do that, help your pictures. Even a simple smartphone can take really great pictures these days. Compelling call to actions, right? So with quality visuals, you will get the attention of your audience, but you just don't want folks scrolling through your profile looking at pretty pictures. Once you have their attention, you need to stimulate them to do more. So you want to do things like, say, click now, or link in bio would be Instagram. That's one of the things I don't like. But in the stories, you can actually do things like swipe left for more information or visit my website for more information. There should always be some sort of compelling call to action that you include, so that your viewers are inspired to do more. Captions are also important in terms of grabbing the attention, because if your caption and your pictures aren't engaging enough, then the call to action will be missed. So that's very important. Relevant hashtags. So hashtags are an essential part of finding and engaging your Instagram community. It also helps your content to be more discoverable. So you have a better chance of attracting new followers and getting more likes and comments if you're used in the right hashtags. And again, I have a little mini video a little further on that tells you some strategies about how you can do that. Now, this is a question I always get. How many hashtags are too many hashtags? My personal choice is that 5 to 10 is more than enough. You don't want your entire post to pretty much be hashtags. And a lot of people make this mistake. And to me, I don't like it. I think it looks like spam. You should have a caption, like some actual words, a sentence that describes what's going on in the post. And then at the bottom, and you should separate it a bit, you can have the hashtags that will help you to be found. And there's nothing wrong with using several of them, but 50 hashtags is definitely too much. For me, I prefer 5 to 10. Everybody's a little different, but I'm just telling you my preference. Okay. Community engagement. Very important as well. So, you shouldn't always use the same hashtags for the same kind of post. You should switch it up a bit. So maybe you have this group of 5 to 10 and a second group of 5 to 10 that apply to the same post. And what you're looking for is to see what pairing of hashtags actually gets you the most community engagement or comments or responses or shares. And over time, you actually will get more really good at this. So that's one way to get your community engagement. The second way, or maybe the first way, maybe I'm doing a little backwards, is that if you yourself engage with the community on Instagram, it actually gives your profile exposure. So what you may want to do is follow pages, follow applicable pages, and actually engage with them. Complementary businesses, of course, not competition, right? Or maybe competition. Some people do that as a strategy where they actually comment on their competitors' pages to give exposure to the shared target audience. I mean, and you can do that. It's fine. But one of the easiest ways to bring attention to your profile is by exposing it through engagement. Also paying attention to the specs in terms of the length of videos, 15 seconds or less, the best video length. And also you should make sure that the images, again, are sized appropriately so that things aren't cut off. Because as you know, Instagram is the square sort of image. So you would want to make sure that whatever you want to be seeing in the post is actually being seen in the square format. I've seen examples of images where things are cut off. You have no idea what you're looking at. So you want to pay attention to things like that. Okay, and so here is a nifty little post checklist that you should, I would say, keep handy until you become a professional at doing this. And by all means, at this point in time, if you wanted to take a screenshot or a picture of this slide, go right ahead. It's just like a nifty reminder to make sure that when you're posting that you have covered all your bases in terms of giving the post the best opportunity to give all of the required information to your target audience. So location, especially if you have a brick and mortar location that you may want people to visit at some point in time, you would want to have that show up on the post. Definitely image or video. Caption. Don't make your captions too long because only about the first 100 to 150 words actually show. And so you don't want to have that little more if you can help it. Sometimes you can't help it. You don't want to have that little more button show up. You want to say whatever it needs to be said, or at least say the most important thing in the caption first. Okay. A good way to inspire engagement is definitely asking a question as a caption. And then, of course, always having a call to action, which we discussed. Be sure to add applicable hashtags. And again, my general rule is 5 to 10, but you guys can do as you wish. I just don't think that more than 10 look really great. And then if your post is doing well and you start getting comments and questions, by all means, please be as responsive as possible to them, because this is your opportunity to connect on a deeper level with your audience. Now, thankfully, there are centers of influence like HubSpot that produce templates for free that can help you to put your posts together. You can also create really branded posts in Canva, and I think you guys are also having some classes on Canva that are going to teach you how to put your posts together, which is great. But just for your information, HubSpot is one of the companies that I follow. They have lots of great best practices and lots of free templates that you can use, very professional templates. So I hyperlinked this, and when you guys get a copy of the presentation, you will have access to this as well. And so these are, you would have access, and I'm not going to click through to it because they'll ask for information and all that great stuff. But access to 16 free Instagram templates specifically designed for business. So of course, I know I probably shouldn't have to keep hitting this home, but I do so anyway. Your interaction for business, very different from your interaction from personal, because some people don't get it. And so here you would have some templates that are suitable for your business posts, and we have 10 post templates and 5 Instagram story templates. So you can just download them, customize them, and rest assured that your communications will be nice and professional. So I just thought that I would include that for you guys to help you in terms of getting up and running if you aren't already doing this, and if you are doing this, to help you to streamline your efforts a bit more. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about hashtags. So what is a hashtag? A hashtag is a word or phrase. I'm sorry, let me go back. A hashtag is a word or phrase preceded by the number sign that's used on social media and other web applications. It started out on Twitter, actually. Twitter was the first hashtag network, and then Instagram came, and then Facebook started using it, and now LinkedIn has joined the bandwagon. But it's a way of categorizing your content based on a specific topic, sometimes industry. So many times when I post on social media, you know, I will always use digital marketing as like a constant hashtag, because 99% of my posts, my business posts anyway, personal posts or something else, have to do with digital marketing. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at a mini video that explains how you can find trending hashtags on Instagram. And I will just click out and hopefully goes directly to the video. All right, so I'm gonna close all these extra windows. Just wait for the video to come up.
So how do you find trending hashtags to grow your Instagram account? Find out inside the video. Hey guys, it's Tia from Brand24, and today I want to talk about trending hashtags, how to find them and how to use them for business. So hashtags, especially on Instagram, are here to help you increase your visibility so that more people can discover your page and your super amazing content. It's just about making sure that your target audience is able to find you. And there are a few different ways that people currently find content on Instagram, and all of them involve hashtags. So the most common way to discover new content on Insta is just by searching for hashtags. In fact, besides hashtags, the only other things that you can search for in the IG search bar are user profiles and locations. So the second way to discover content is on the Explore page, which suggests content for you based on the accounts and hashtags that you engage with. And the third relatively new way that people discover content is by following hashtags. So this works just like following a friend. If you see a hashtag that you like, you can follow it, and then you'll start to see top posts with that hashtag in your feed, along with the latest stories with that hashtag in your stories bar. So while following hashtags helps you discover more content that you might be interested in, using trending hashtags helps more people discover new content from you. How do you find trending hashtags for Instagram? There are a couple ways you can do this. You can do it manually through Instagram search, or automatically, which is a little more thorough, using different apps and tools. We will start with Instagram. So if you are looking for trending hashtags inside Insta manually, start by going to the search bar and entering a general hashtag that you want to use for your post. For example, if I wanted to post a picture like this, I might consider a hashtag like palm trees. So you'd enter that hashtag into the search field, and then you would see a list of all the hashtags that contain the full text palm trees. The hashtags with the largest number of posts are trendier than the others, and if you click on any of them, you'll also see a list of related hashtags that you can look into. So another way to find trending hashtags that's just a little more comprehensive is by using tools. For instance, Brand24 has a special feature for this. You just create a project like you normally would, to track mentions of your company, your hashtag, or whatever it is that you're interested in tracking across the internet. It does not have to be a hashtag. So let's use an easy example for this, like a TV show. Just set it up like you normally would, enter the name of the show, create your project, and discover what people are saying about it. Now, when you click on the Analysis tab and scroll down a little, you will see a section called Trending Hashtags. This takes all the mentions of the show and analyzes the hashtags that were used in those mentions and lists them according to how often they were used. You can do the same with your business or your product. Just track your brand name or your product and find out what people are saying about it. And when you're looking for trending hashtags to use on Instagram, just head over to the Analysis tab inside Brand24 and scroll down to the Trending Hashtags section. This is where you will find a really personalized list of your top 100 trending hashtags according to your brand or product. You can use these to just connect with fans of your product, help them find your company page, and just see what they're saying about your business in general. So another question that often comes up is, how many hashtags should you use? It seems like everybody has a different answer for this. Some experts recommend that you use the maximum number allowed, which is 30. Others say that you should use less to avoid looking spammy. And some brands have actually published studies that they have done on their own hashtags, with results ranging from 9 hashtags getting the most engagement to a bare minimum of 11. It varies, and it depends on your content, your audience, on the hashtags that you use, and many other factors. The general consensus is, however, that hashtags are definitely meant to be used on Instagram. That is, unless you are already a wildly popular influencer who has throngs of people entering your name directly into the Instagram search bar every day just to catch a glimpse of your newest post. If not, I suggest experimenting and trying different combinations of hashtags, sometimes more, sometimes less, and different types until you find that sweet spot. So everybody's content is different, which means that everybody's magic number is going to be different too. And if you don't like the way that it looks when you use 30 hashtags, there are 2 ways to make it a little less obvious. You can omit using any hashtags at all in your caption and then just add them in the comments, like right after you publish. Or you can enter your caption normally and then add several empty lines beneath it just before you add your hashtags. So Instagram, it only shows the first couple lines of your caption in the feed, so users will not see your hashtags unless they click on more. There are also other things to consider when you're trying to grow your Instagram profile, like making sure you avoid using banned hashtags, finding good community hashtags that already have really strong communities with genuine interest in that topic, and knowing how to pinpoint which hashtags bring you more engagement versus spam. There are certain broad hashtags like motivation and inspiration that tend to get you some really spammy comments and followers. And we will definitely go over all this another time in a separate video, because that's it for this week. If you have any questions or anything to add, you're welcome to drop it in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where I will be sharing more tips on how you can do even more in social media and digital marketing each week. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I will...
Okay, so that was a great video, I think, that explains the different ways that you can find the correct hashtags. And she and I agree. I think that 30 is a bit much, but you guys can make your own decisions as regards to that. Does anybody have any questions as it relates specifically to hashtags? Because I know that usually people have some clarifications, or they haven't been using them, or they're using them and wondering if they're using the right ones. So hopefully the video actually helped to explain how you can find the correct ones. And quite frankly, of course, she works for that brand 24, and they have a tool, but you really, as a small business marketer, unless you really want to, and there are lots of tools, trust me, you don't really have to use a tool. You can just use the first way that she showed you, which is just going to the search bar and typing in a hashtag that you may have a hunch about, or that you notice that your competitors are using, and you will get an entire list of related hashtags that you can then choose to use or not to use. Does anybody have any questions as it relates to hashtags? All right, so we shall keep going. Next up, we'll take a look at Instagram ads. So while you can grow your profile, to a certain extent by using hashtags and sharing really great content, once you really want to have that conversion happen, once you get to the point where you feel like you've kind of maxed out your organic growth and you really want to start seeing some conversions, especially in the form of purchases, at that point, it's time to actually start doing some targeted ad campaigns. So what are Instagram ads? Instagram ads can be made on either posts and stories, right? And you will set them up, based on targeting, and you would pay to have them placed in Instagram's users' feeds, right? They usually look like regular Instagram posts, but the giveaway that you would know if someone is doing an ad campaign is that it says sponsored at the top. So anytime you see an Instagram ad that has sponsored, you know that it's a paid ad campaign. And many times, if you're wondering, how come I'm seeing this brand? I don't even know what this brand is. Well, you're not following them yet. But this is their attempt to get you to follow them, and hopefully over time for you to actually engage with them. And whether it's signing up for a newsletter or actually buying a product. So from now on, whenever you see these kinds of posts, you will know, hey, this company is running an ad campaign. Okay? And so it would be sponsored, usually with a call to action attached. So there are many types of Instagram ads that can be run. So there's stories ads, there are photo ads, video ads, carousel ads, collection ads, explore ads, IGTV ads, and of course, Instagram shopping ads. Each ad type works for different business goals and have different call to action options. And so, of course, you as a business owner, you would need to really think ahead of time what the purpose of this ad campaign is to make sure that you're choosing the right kind of ad, right? Followed by the corresponding call to action. So let's just take a little deeper look at the type of ads. So starting with story ads. So these would be the ads in the stories, right? So Instagram story ads are full screen ads that appear between user stories. So as their usual stories are going on the story feed, you can pop an ad in between them, right? So there are about 500 million Instagram users viewing stories every day. And so you have the potential of reaching very targeted eyeballs by using Instagram story ads. So story ads support the following objectives. App installs. If you have an app, a story app ad is good. Brand awareness, conversions, lead generation, messages, reach, store traffic, general traffic, and video views. And the corresponding call to action buttons for story ads would be apply now, book now, contact us, download, get show times, get quote, get offer, install now, that would be for the app, listen now, order now, play game, request a time or book a time, see menu, shop now, subscribe, watch more. All right. And so as you set up the ad, you don't have to worry about remembering everything that I just said, because as you set up the ad and it walks you through the process, it will then give you the list of call to actions, you should know the list of objectives, but it will definitely tell you that what the corresponding call to actions should be. Okay. Let's move on to photo ads. So photo ads allow brands to showcase products and services through compelling images. And the objectives that photo ads support would be, again, very similar to the story ads. App installs, brand awareness, catalog sales, messages, store traffic, general traffic, lead generation, and call to action buttons would be similar again. Apply now, book test drive, check availability, install now as we're seeing on the screen, get quotes, order now, use app, subscribe. There's a whole list of them that you will see once you begin to build the app. So this is an example of a photo ad, I'm sorry. And again, we're seeing the telltale sign here, sponsored. Next we have, oh, sorry. So this is showing where this photo ad led once you hit install now. So if we just go back, the call to action is install now. And once the viewer hits install now, they're actually led to the Google Play Store where they can actually install the app that's being showcased. Very nifty. Okay. Video ads. So video ads on Instagram can actually be up to a minute long. So they give the user a chance to get a deeper look at your brand and your business. However, with that being said, I still recommend that your video ads be no longer than 30 seconds, maybe 45. Attention spans are really short these days, and you don't want to be paying for an ad that people aren't going to watch in its entirety. So in this example that you're being seen here, Tostitos Canada used the campaign of a short video to increase sales of its Tostitos Scoops and hint of jalapeno chips by 5.5%. And this is my 5-year-old coming for a kiss. All right, go talk to daddy. Working from home. And the supportive objectives and call to actions are very similar to the previous formats that we showed you, that I shared with you a couple slides back. All right, but at least again, video allows you to be very engaging so that you can actually showcase what's going on. All right, moving on to carousel ads. So Instagram Stories carousel ads make it easier for you to seamlessly showcase more products and tell a deeper story by using more than one image or video. So instead of just having, that one sort of story ad, you can actually line them up so that they go in a sort of a caramel format. And this way you're actually able to build from one story to the next. So I think here, yes, I did. I linked it to the Instagram for Business page. It actually shows a little bit of how a carousel ad would go. So this is a carousel ad right here. And if I click, you will see that instead of just one story, it's kind of like putting mini stories together to actually give more of a full engaging picture. And the reason why you would use this is because, again, stories are getting a lot of engagement. And so making use of them in the best way possible is recommended. All right. And so this is the more on-page carousel ad. So you can do a carousel ad in the stories, and you can also do carousel ads on your main page. And again, the carousel ad on the main page, if you guys can see right here, this is picture 4 of 10. And you would line up, so you guys are familiar with Instagram multiple posts where you can select up to 10 images and they kind of like lay on top of each other so that they become scrollable. Well, same concept, it's called a carousel. And so you can actually do carousel ads in similar fashion where you tell more of a story about your product or a showcase. So in this case, this is a furniture carousel ad. And usually the purpose of these ads would be linking back to your website for them to, people usually use these ads to showcase products. So the call to action would be shop now or buy now. And so this is the first example of the ad. And then this is another example of what comes next. So this is bedroom furniture. So they're kind of like building on the experience, of course, with a shop now call to action. All right, collection ads. So Instagram collection ads offer a compelling e-commerce feature. As you can see, their prices here. And users have the option to purchase products directly from the ad. And when users click on the ad, they're directed to an Instagram instant experience storefront, right? So when you click on it, this is what you see, and you're able to actually shop more lip products specifically. And so the supported objectives for these collection ads are a lot shorter and more targeted than the other ads that I spoke about. So they would be catalog sales, conversions, store traffic, and just traffic in general. So this is not more of an engaging sort of click around and look more. The goal here is to actually have people spend money, okay? And the call to action buttons are usually learn more or purchase, quick and to the point. Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember in the video that we watched where the young lady that was explaining hashtags mentioned the Explore page. And so the Explore page is the page on Instagram that recommends content that you may be interested in based on your current interactions. So Explore on Instagram is where users discover new content and accounts. And more than half of Instagram users access Explore every month. Okay. So Instagram Explore ads do not appear in the Explore grid or topic channels. Instead, the ads appear after someone clicks on a photo or video from Explore. So what this is making sure that the person who views your ad definitely has an interest in the topic that your ad is about. So they wouldn't see it on the Explore page, but say for example, I'll use makeup since this has been the trend of the presentation. Sorry, guys. So say I clicked on a makeup product from the Explore page. If you're running an Explore ad and somehow I fit the demographic of your target audience, at that point, having clicked on that specific picture, that is when I would see your Explore ad. And so you can use your regular Instagram photos and video ads to be as Explore ads as well, and you would just have to select that option if you're interested in exploring it once you're setting up your ad campaign. So it's nothing extra that you do, you just select that you also want it to be an Explore ad. Shoppable ads. So if you're set up with Instagram shopping, you can run shoppable posts as Instagram ads as well. And there's a whole process that you have to go through to get set up with Instagram shopping. And maybe, again, all of this stuff is difficult to do because Instagram is mobile based, but maybe I'll do a couple slides next week on the hands-on section, just kind of putting you in the direction of how you will begin to become shoppable on Instagram, because unless you have that capability within your account, you wouldn't be allowed to do these ads. So Instagram shopping ads take shoppers directly to a product or description page within the Instagram app. And it allows your users to purchase directly through the mobile website. And in terms of objectives, again, shorter than the first set of ads I spoke about, brand awareness, conversions, post engagement, and link clicks. Those are the objectives. And so the call to action would be, of course, shop now, learn more, buy now, more direct. Okay. So in terms of knowing what type of ad you should be running, it's crucial that you really sit down and have a little mini strategy session with a team member or a good friend as to what the intended goal of these ads should be. Like, what do you want? Do you want people to just learn more about your business? Do you want people to subscribe to your e-newsletter so that you can put them into a longer marketing funnel? Or do you want them as quickly as possible to exchange money with you and purchase your products? So depending on the goal of, the goal of the ads, that's how you would choose the kind of ad that you want to run. And next week during the hands-on section, we will review how to set up Instagram ads directly on Instagram as well as via the Facebook ad manager so that you know there are two options. I recommend if you are on Facebook that you do it through the ad manager because this allows you to kill two birds with one stone. All right, again, my buddy Seth Godin, good marketers measure. If you're not measuring, you're not marketing. Very important, especially if you're starting out. And even, after a while of doing this stuff, things stop being as effective as they were in the beginning. So it's really important to measure and understand what's working and what isn't. So Instagram, like Facebook, comes with some really pretty good insights. Definitely not as detailed as Facebook, but good enough. And so you're able to see where your followers are coming from, the hours and the days that they're most active. And this is actually insights based on this actual photo post. So whenever you promote, this is a photo ad. Whenever you promote a post, you get access to the insights so that you can see exactly what you're paying for. This is the overall Instagram account. So for this account, we can see that the majority of their followers are in the age range of 25 to 34, and 56% of them are women. Based on this promotion, you can see how many people viewed the promotion and how many of them actually clicked to visit the profile. So viewing is one thing, right? You see it, but engagement is what you're really looking for here. I would hope, the figure that would make the most sense to you. All right. So to round things off, I want us to look at another little mini video that kind of goes into more explanation as to the kind of analytics that you have available to you with the Instagram business account, and how you can use them to actually tweak your ad campaigns. So after we watch this video, we will move on to our final Q&A segment, and then I would have you guys get back to the rest of your day. And then next week when we join again, it will be the hands-on session, which tends to be a little longer, where we actually build the accounts, and we have some people, well, again, you can actually view your accounts on the computer on Instagram. So if you are making improvements to your account as we go through the session together next week, and you wanted to share your screen and show me, which is what we did with Facebook, you will have to log into your account on the computer, and then I will activate the share screen, and you guys can actually show me what you did during the class hands-on, because I like to see what people are doing so that I know that what I was attempting to accomplish was actually helpful. All right, so let's watch this little mini video together about Instagram analytics, and then we will have our final Q&A.
Instagram business accounts have powerful analytics about your audience and the content you're sharing. Insights which can help you continually optimize your social media strategy. Tap Insights to begin viewing your data. Let's start with the Audience tab. Here, you'll see the top locations of your audience, their demographics, and when they're on Instagram most. Based on this information, a hotel chain might learn that their audience is actually older and more female. Insights which could be useful for content planning and targeting. Now let's look at Activities. Here, you'll see interactions and discovery metrics for your main feed. Interactions capture how people are engaging with your account, like visiting your profile and clicking your website link. Discovery measures aggregated reach and impressions for your posts. Reach is the number of unique accounts that have viewed your posts, whereas impressions are the total number of views. Impressions will always be higher than reach, and generally, the higher your impressions are compared to unique views, the more your content is resonating. That's because individuals are viewing things multiple times. The Content tab shows how individual posts are performing. Filter results by metric and time frame. For example, find out which videos were liked the most over the past 6 months. Also under Content are metrics for your stories. Note that a story needs to be live for 24 hours before you can review its performance. You can view these metrics as we did with regular posts, or for a more in-depth view of each story, tap on it, then swipe up to see a more extensive list of metrics. Under the eye symbol, you can see how many people viewed your story. Results from stickers like questions, polls, or quizzes are also found here. Now, toggle to the graph icon to check interaction metrics like replies and profile visits that your stories generated. The number of individual story replies can be seen here. It's best to acknowledge all story replies either with a response or at least a like, so your audience feels valued. If you're anticipating a high volume of replies, have a bank of responses on hand to save time. Also under interactions is profile visits. If you're getting a lot of profile visits, your follower count should also increase at a similar rate. If your profile visits are high, but your follower count isn't changing, there's likely a disconnect between what your audience sees in your stories versus what's on your profile. Moving down to discovery, we can see the reach and impressions of your stories. It also measures follows, which is the number of accounts that began following you after viewing one of your stories. If this number's high, it likely means you've done something right with that story and that your profile was enticing enough to attract a follow. Now let's look at navigation to better understand your audience's specific actions with your stories. Taps forward captures when a viewer tapped the right side of the story to jump to the next one. If taps forward are consistently high on video content, you could try sharing shorter videos. In contrast, taps backward captures when a viewer has rewatched the same story. Depending on the story's content and length, this can mean that the content was worth another view. Or it could mean that the audience needed another look to absorb the content. Next story shows how many viewers swiped to view the next account's story. Use this data to figure out what isn't resonating with your audience. If these metrics are high, it could mean you're overloading your audience's attention span with too many stories. The last metric on our list is exits, which measures when your story is closed. While similar to the next story metric, an exit is less negative. For example, an exit could mean a viewer had to exit the entire Instagram app, or that they tapped on a username or link within your story. So, if your exits, profile visits, and follows all increase simultaneously, this likely means your content strategy is working. Now that you know what each metric means, be sure to track them consistently and set benchmarks that you can compare your results to across time. Keep in mind, Instagram analytics for regular posts are available for up to 2 years after publishing. But, and this is important, analytics for stories are only available for 14 days. So, set time aside regularly to record this data so it's available when you need it for reporting.
All right, so I thought that video did a much better job than I could do in explaining exactly all the intricacies of analytics. And you guys, you notice that I'm referring specific sources in my presentations, and these are all centers of influence or companies that I refer to in my business, and you guys should definitely use as resources. Tons of free training videos, lots of templates, lots of easy updates to help you really succeed as a small business owner trying to enjoy the benefits of utilizing digital marketing for your business. Hootsuite is definitely one of them. HubSpot is another one of them. Seth Godin, of course. What I think I'll do at the end of the final presentation, which will be next week, is to just give you guys a list of resources that you can refer to going forward to stay on track of all of this stuff, because it's ever changing and you have to keep up or else you fall behind. Okay, so that is the official end of today's best practice presentation. I know it was a lot of information. At this time, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat, and let's have a mini discussion, and then I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your day. Don't be shy. Are there no questions because the presentation was clear, or because everybody is totally confused because there was so much information? Anyone?
You have to try out first.
You have to
Yeah.
try it out first, right? It's a lot of information. Yeah, I know. And it can be overwhelming. So this is part 1. Part 2 will be next week, where we try to do some of this live as much as we can, because Instagram is really on the phone, but I'll try my best to do directions and screenshots so that you guys can follow on your phone. And then, hopefully this series has been helpful and you guys feel a little bit more confident understanding how this all works. All right, at this point, Dan, I'll turn things back over to you to close up. I know you might have some announcements, some other programs that you have coming up that you may want to make the audience aware of, and then we can say goodbye for today.
Yes, I want to thank everyone for coming, and thank you. I thought that was amazing. That was incredibly helpful. So everyone that's participating here, you're going to get an email later this afternoon that will have the recording of this session and also all of the slide materials that she showed and that she presented. So you'll get that this afternoon. And again, part 2 then is, I believe that's next week, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Where we'll actually do some live updates and building of profiles, fun stuff. All right, everybody, you have been a very silent but attentive audience. And hopefully you guys will come back for part 2 next Monday. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.